Let's take a look at striking with our firearm. We have to understand that leverages play a role here. If I hit this in a way that it's going to be leveraged out of my hand, then that's no good. So we want to think about having a strong grip, a strong wrist, and then striking with parts of the gun that decrease the chances that it falls out of my hand. One of the best ways to strike is going to be with the front of the muzzle. So think of it just like a punch. You're going to strike the person with the muzzle end of the firearm. Now, if we think about our hooks, we can be striking with the top side of the slide. Now, the further down on the slide, the better for us. The further forward, the more leverage it's going to have to want to fall out. But think of it coming across and hitting with the front side of this. So this would be akin to our hooks. So we have our straight punches and we have our hooks. Now, we can also think of it like a hammer fist. For the hammer fist, though, I'm going to be hitting with the bottom side of the frame. I'd rather avoid hitting with the magazine itself. Magazines are notorious for causing jams or breaking easily, and that's something I would rather avoid. So I would like to hit closer to the trigger guard if I can. The further up the frame and closer to that muzzle, the more leverage this gun is going to have to want to pop out. But that would be something where you are slashing with the firearm and you're striking with this lower part. So we had the straight punches, we had kind of like a hook, and we have the slashing or the hammer fist looking strike. Those are going to be your primary ways of striking with a firearm. We really want to avoid striking with the side of the firearm. That's where you will find that you have the most leverage going away from you. That's how it's going to come out of my grip. So don't slap across somebody, because that's going to cause a lot of problems to your own grip on that firearm. So being aware of the leverage that takes place, having a solid grip, a solid wrist, hitting with the right parts of the gun are going to play a big role in how we can fight with it. Another thing to take account when you are striking with this is, one, I don't want to have my finger on the trigger. If my finger's on the trigger, it's a good chance that this is going to be firing. Now, maybe I'm striking with it because it's out of ammo, or maybe there's a jam or some problem, and you could say that that's not going to cause a problem. However, I don't want to get in the habit of having my finger on that trigger unless I am shooting. So keep the finger off of the trigger. Second, try not to muzzle the rest of your body. So it's easy to think about throwing a jab, but if this hand's in my backhand, now I've just muzzled myself. So it could be that I switch stances and I use the gun side as my jabbing side, or I just have to be aware that if I'm striking, I need to move that muzzle away from the limbs that are launching out in front. Try not to have it in front of you and muzzling yourself. So those are a few things for you to take into account when striking with your firearm.